Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending this amazing interview with Stacy Sherman today. I am Arpita. I'll be the host for tonight. I'm the design lead of ADPList, and today we will be talking to Stacy about how you can become a better leader in the field of customer experience. Thank you so much, Stacy, for joining us, for being part of Be More. Without further ado, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, glad to be here. So I'm Stacy Sherman, a customer experience corporate executive at LiveOps, a keynote speaker, author, and podcaster about doing customer experience right. My show is Doing CX Right. And I've created a heart and science framework that accelerates customer loyalty, referrals, and revenue, which is all fueled by employees and service agents. So I'm really glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stacy. So today's interview is going to be about how we can build a customer-centric culture. And this is something that the leader of customer service or customer experiences take care of to building a customer-centric experience. So today we have Stacy, a leader with us, who's going to take us a little bit into helping us understand this better, right? So I'm going to jump into my first question, right? I want to know a little bit about in a platform, in a company, who owns the customer experience?
I love that question because people look at me like I have 10 heads when I say to them, you do. Now, what do I mean? I go around every single department, finance, HR, legal, obviously the front line. Everybody has a CX job, a customer experience job, whether you're frontline or back office. And for example, I'll go to the billing and finance team and I'll say, you have a CX job. And they said, no, I don't. I don't talk to the customer. I'm behind the scenes. I said, yes, you do, because the customer journey involves paying your bill. And if that's not easy, they will leave. It doesn't matter that everything up front was a good experience. If paying their bill and getting help with their bill goes wrong, guess what happens? So that's just an example. And I want everyone to understand that you have a CX job, even IT, technical support. They're like, I just help the internal employees and agents. And I said, well, but they can't do their job without you. They can't deliver customer excellence without you. So everyone has a CX job.
That's extremely insightful. And I totally understand that because I think in our day-to-day lives, I see that every department has to step up to make the customer experience better. I think
Yeah.
that's a really insightful one there. So what exactly is the difference between customer experience and customer service? We deal with these two terminologies a lot, right? So if you could help us understand that a little bit.
Yes. So I do a lot of keynote speaking on this topic. Customer experience and customer service are not the same thing. When you think about customer experience, it's an entire journey of what people go through when they interact with your brand. So how they learn, become aware is the beginning. And obviously, marketing has a lot to do with that. Then people have to buy. And is that e-commerce? Is that a Salesforce? Is that an 800 number? How do they buy? And there's that whole experience. So learn, buy, get, use, pay, and get help. That get help in the customer journey, which is definitely more of a reactive calling or chatting because you need something, that's customer service. Whereas customer experience is much more proactive, cross team effort. And let me say that customer service is a huge part of customer perceptions and customer loyalty, but it's not the same thing. You can't use those terms interchangeably.
Gotcha. And how would you define customer experience in support with user experience, right? Like a lot of platforms, we have CX and we have UX. how do they play a role together, or how do they support each other?
Great question. So, UX, user experience, is really people who are trained on looking at the experience, the mental mindset of people, you and me, and how we buy, and small changes like a call to action button. If it says buy now versus add to cart, those words, those buttons, those colors, those placement all have to do with the UX design, user design. And that is a component of the overall customer experience. One impacts the other. Again, they're not synonymous, but it's a discipline within CX, and it's a very important one.
I think that makes a lot of sense. So would you say that UX is a part of customer experience?
Yes. And I encourage people to understand and go deep within CX, within UX, because it is part of the whole journey. But UX is really a specialized field. Same with human-centered design. It's a discipline within the CX framework.
Makes sense. That's super insightful. Actually, now that you say it like that, I look at it very differently. Like, I don't think the companies follow this nested approach when it comes to CX and UX. I think that's extremely insightful.
One comment to that, it's really important to what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
So, for what I write and speak about doing CX right, the issue that companies have, and I've worked in all different industries, that UX is a different department. So
Right.
what you just said is a problem.
Right.
They can't be silos in organizations.
Makes
So
sense.
just wanted to put that out there, because the best in class companies, they really meld together. And if they are different departments, then there's a very close partnership, and you have to break the silo.
Gotcha. So CX and UX should work pretty much as close as they can, right?
Yes,
Awesome.
definitely.
That's so. How do you think product developers or can apply these CX practices and be a part of the CX framework that you were telling?
Yes. So product development, I happen to be I worked at Verizon and in new product development. And brilliantly, they created a CX organization within new product development. Why is that important? Well, you can't develop products and spend so much energy, time, money, and throw it out there into the market and hope it sticks. That doesn't work. Instead, you bring CX experts to the table and you work with the product developers and you share prototypes and you do concept validation with real customers. Employees too, but that doesn't replace the real customer. And you build in an agile way. And that's how you really can be sure that you're building a product or service that people will want, that they'll buy, that they'll pay for. And it's a whole discipline.
That's really nice. So, what have you learned about leadership through your career? You just mentioned you've been a part of a couple of organizations and you've been a part of the product development process, right? So, how has what has your leadership learning growth been like?
Oh, we can spend hours just on that topic. First of all, I had to really work hard to get where I am as a female and as a leader. It's not been easy. My advice are a couple things. One, there's always going to be people who say no. You're always going to have lovers and haters. And you have to build trust. That's the forefront for people to want to partner with you, to hire you, to elevate you. And it takes time. So that's first thing. Secondly, I teach my daughter this, and my mother taught me this. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. And so you have to ask for what you believe in. Now, you have to be pick and choose, and you need to come with a good case, not just because, hey, I want something, but no. What's worked for me is I'll do a pilot program and I'll show the value of something. I don't say just Stacy thinks so. No, here's what the data shows. And now let me show you this. And now let's invest and scale it. That works. And I would also say that just start, do it wrong quickly. And that's a great book, by the way. And what I mean by that is I started my blog in 2017. I had no idea doing CXWrite.com. I had no idea if anyone would ever read it, if I was just writing for my own self. And it turned out that people read it. I started to get recognized. It was a crawl, walk, run approach. And that led me to writing for Forbes and other publications. Then I got onto podcasts as a guest on 50 shows. And then I started my own. And here I am into my 56th episode. And I tell you this because you have to just start. You don't have to have it perfect. Whether you take that advice with your passion projects and with your work inside a company and as a leader, it works.
Awesome. That's really, really insightful. I have a very, very important question for you. You're a mom, you're a podcaster, you're a blogger, you do so many things. Like I believe you have a different job while you were doing your doing CX right as well, right? So
yeah, doing CX right is nights and weekends, and I have a day job that's really important and gratifying. And the way you do both, the way you can balance is if you do what you love and enjoy what you do, it doesn't feel like work. It all blends. It's not a job. It's a passion and it's a way of living. And of course, me as a mom is always first. And so over the years, I had to put my career growth on a slower path to be mom. But now that my kids are older, I have the time to be able to say yes more. Before I had to say no selectively. So prioritization is key. Being extremely organized is my secret sauce. And do what you really enjoy so it doesn't feel like work.
I can totally agree. I mean, obviously, I am one of those things. I'm with a day job and with a night. So I totally understand what it means to do what you love. I think for someone like me who has literally made my path in the career out of something that was not meant to be, I totally relate with you. And that's something everyone should do. Thank you so much for sharing that. My final question for the night, and I think this is something that I wanted to keep for the end. Some feedback, or actually not feedback, I would say actionable advice for all the CX leads out there, right? To have this customer-centric culture, what would be the advice that you would share with them?
I would say you need a top champion who can drive the vision, define the customer, the service values, infuse that in every agenda meeting, keep that drumbeat going. And then you need bottom up. You need those CX advocates in every department. You need everyone getting out there, go walk in the customer service agent shoes, get on those calls and listen, get out there and go be a customer and bring the organization together, design that journey map together. All the steps we talked about, how they're going to become aware, learn, buy, get, use, get help, define it all together, break the silos, create that appreciation for the domino effect of where everybody impacts each other. And then the game changer is take that customer experience that you designed and go validate it with real customers and optimize it and do it together as a team, top down, bottom up.
I think that's really good. I'm going to be using that advice for sure. I want to have the sense of collaboration with the whole team, where the whole product can think alike when it comes to customer experience. And I think that sounds super empowering for any product who can just, apply this. So thank you so much, Stacy. Today's call has been nothing less than insightful for me. I am so excited to see how we can improve CX around the world. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you again, talking with you again.
Absolutely. And I have tons of free resources on my website, doingcxright.com. And listen to my podcast and sign up for my newsletter to get a lot of great tips. And if you want to learn more, reach out to me.
For sure, for sure. I think I will be reaching out to you after this session to get a little bit more knowledge about CX, because today I think we just touched the surface. So I would love to talk more about it. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you all for watching me and Stacy today. I was super happy to have you, Stacy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.